tell we've kind of all gotten comfortable here and everything's starting to make a little bit more sense, a little more free-flowy.
Exactly.
Speaking of free-flowy, quite the flurry of matches yesterday between you guys.
Yeah, we had a lot of games yesterday and some exciting finishes as well. We went right towards the midnight hour, managing to see Complexity actually get a win and ruin everyone's pick'ems. That was a lot of fun. One of the craziest games I've ever casted, actually. Like, that's what the major's all about, I think, is having those sort of moments, the high-pressure situations, and seeing who can actually hold their nerve, and apparently Stanislaw can. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, Stanislaw showing big numbers there, and ultimately NRG falling. That is them out of the tournament. They're donezo, Matt.
Yeah, heartbreaking way to do it as well. I think all of their games, they were within 2 or 3 rounds of actually picking up a win. Double overtime yesterday on map 1, overtime in map 2. You can't really argue that it's bad luck if you lose map 0-4, but yeah, definitely could have been a very different story for them with not much else, a few less mistakes.
Well, this story, yeah, that, you know what, I think you're onto something. I'm going to let you finish, but first,
Kanye.
Hey, a big fan. Shout out to that guy, wherever he is. Anyway, day 3 now. Swiss round 4 does continue here, and we're going to dive right into it. I got something special prepared for you. Let's take a look.
The players that are here, they all know what they are playing for. They all know that this stadium makes legends. So when all of us here grow older and our children grow older, we'll tell them about how it all began. We'll tell them a story about how modern Counter-Strike was born in this arena.
Every Counter-Strike fan starts to gather, whether it's at home on the sofa at the PC or here in the Spodek. We are the generation that has seen esports in its humble beginnings. You are the people who found esports, drove esports, and believed in it.
Welcome to the Acer Predator pre-show.
That's right, the Acer Predator pre-show here again from the Spodek. It's a little snowy outside from the looks of that, but we are not anywhere near what is cold here indoors. In fact, we're getting right into these matches, and as I have transitioned from my couch, I will now find myself on the desk alongside some dashing gentlemen. Now, I did introduce you to my sergeants. I also need to introduce you to my lieutenants here in Chad Birchill and what is Mr. Sean Gares.
What's ranked higher?
Yeah, I was kind of confused about that.
So they're just kind of like the worker bees. Lieutenants are in command-ish, and then I'm the captain, so that means, you know, you guys work for me.
We're ahead of them.
Yeah, no matter
as long as that's the case.
That's a given. That's kind of how that's
needed to
work.
clarify that.
Steer the ship. That's fine.
Yes, Navigator and all in between. Guys, we've got 3 matchups on our hands today. 3 best of 3s to be exact, and we're going to be sending some more teams onward down the boat here.
Yeah, look, I think if we reflect on yesterday, the fact that Astralis and Liquid both went 3-0 is great. That means, and we spoke about it numerous times, we made it and really drove that point home, that they are on the opposite side of the bracket when we moved to the champion stage. But there are still a couple of names here who, you know, they're coming into this tournament. Where do we really place them? MIBR and you've got FaZe, who are both not struggling, but they really haven't shown up in the way we expected just yet.
I think the biggest shocking thing that we saw yesterday was Big and NRG exiting the tournament. You spoke a little bit about NRG on the sofa over there. So many people saw both of those teams advancing, and they're the first to leave the event.
Yeah, and I think even more on the docket of things that are surprising there is this G2 lineup. They have barreled down the path of what is the major system thus far, but they are finding stiff resistance. In fact, maybe a little bit more than they bargained for. Let's take a deeper look into what is G2 esports.
It was really hard since the beginning of the tournament. We managed to just pull off ourselves since yesterday. So it feels really great because it was really hard for us since the beginning. So coming and fighting till all the matches and all day and getting the next stage now is really nice. We basically know why we are losing. From there, you just have to push everyone, to push the guys, and to have the good mindset, and just wait for it. It's gonna come. We didn't have any expectation coming into there, but lately the practice were quite good, I would say. So we were kind of satisfied about it. But jumping into the tournament, we didn't play our game. We had a lot of pressure, and we played scared. and a lot of stuff like this that it was really hard for us to go through, but we managed to just turn it off, and that's why we won yesterday and today.
Well, they did have quite the battle yesterday. They found themselves facing off of a MIBR that also has a few question marks around it. So in what that matchup is, a big fire, one might even call it.
Yeah, Coldzera really tore up G2 yesterday. It was really cool, though, because we got to see vintage Coldzera and Kenny S. Kenny S has been constantly performing for them, so it was a treat.
Yeah, and I suppose there are a lot of things that we could really point out. This all went down on Inferno, and, you know, Chad, I know you like to play with your toys, so perhaps we just get you in the sandbox.
Well, it was a 16-12 game, right? I'm going to head over to the telestrator, and I'm going to show you a round that maybe if was converted by the side of G2, it could have been a game going in their favor. So you can see the scoreline is 12-6. I've already highlighted a couple of points here. You can see that everybody's headed over towards Banana. It is going to be a B execute. So I want to really highlight Lucky, the B defender, with Shocks. We're going to start playing the clip, and you're going to see that they do their job. They stop this attack, and what happens after this is just people getting too greedy, too hungry, and trying to win the round on their own. So the execute comes in, Lucky from the back of the site. He's going to die in this position because his support of Shocks can't actually push through this smoke. Those frags are going to go in, and now what I want to do is, you can see the rotation coming in from the guys from A. They're making their way over. What I really want to focus on right now is the positioning of Shocks right here, and what you're about to see happen with Jax. Focus on those two players because it is a 2-on-4 situation, a huge number advantage. We'll keep playing this one out. Look at Jax's screen right now. He's about to pull out a flash. He's probably calling Shocks, I can flash, Shocks, I can flash. You're about to see Shocks. He swings before the flash comes in. He's going to die, right? He's dead. Now I want you to look at the focus of Body, who's over here. He has to push for the trade because his teammate has gone and done the wrong thing. At this point, Body's going to die, and now what was a 2-on-4 becomes a 2-on-2 and an impossible retake that is going to be lost by the side of G2. This could have been a round they had in the back pocket and a big swing round in the match because of the scoreline in the early stages of the second half. So have to tidy these ones up if they want to continue to win, Trace.
Yeah, and MIBR obviously winning that second pistol, first half going the way of 9-6. I mean, we could begin to talk about all of the things that encompass this matchup and perhaps, I mean, some of the key players sticking out to you, Sean Gares, at least across the board, maybe on the MIBR side.
Definitely Coldzera. I mean, he was the reason why they won that 2-on-4 right there. 2 huge kills with red HP on people coming through construction. Yes, the communication wasn't there. I completely agree with what Chad said, but also big individual efforts throughout the entire game from MIBR.
Well, you guys want to keep talking about surprises, and like, well, I guess that one was a surprise, but the reality is everyone is a little shocked at the fact that the Renegades have made it thus far, and the cherry on top is that they did it taking a map off of Astralis yesterday. I think that was a big surprise to everyone. Anybody that forecasted that, anyone that put them in your pick'ems in such a manner, a crazy time to be alive.
Look, I don't think that there's any arguing that Renegades is the most successful Australian core roster that's ever existed, right? The fact of the matter is you've got JKS, you've got Azure, and you have Liaz as the Australians. You've got the Gratisfaction as the New Zealander and Jacob as the Norwegian, but it's still a core Australian roster, and they've exceeded expectations. On Mirage, it was the one weakness which we kind of outlined for the side of Astralis, and they made it work. It wasn't overtime. It was with poor T sides, but they got one map on the board.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to ask you is what do you think about the fact that they're so CT dependent? Is that something that's going to crush them later on in this event? Because when we were casting them, Trace and I, they just seem so flat on their T sides time and time again.
It really felt, especially when we made it to the third map of Inferno and they had to start on the T side after being battered on Nuke, that there wasn't really any hope for them. But at least I reminded myself they were going up against Astralis. I think versus other teams who are more of a level playing field, they're definitely going to get more T rounds.
The thing for Kassad and the rest of their company is that they do have an uphill battle no matter what. Nobody really quite put these guys in the winning side of the equation. But we do have the winning moment here where we can get the chance to hear from Kassad himself going ahead of their matchups going forward.
After yesterday's, quite frankly, devastating loss to Astralis, I've grabbed the coach of Renegades, Kassad, for a quick catch-up about what happened in yesterday's game.
Oh, I think we just hit a brick wall. I mean, they were playing so good. I even woke up this morning at like 7 maybe to just review the game from yesterday, just with like a fresh mind after like a long night's sleep. So what I saw is that they were playing really good. We throw everything at them, everything we had, the fakes, the executes, the contacts, the defaults, everything that we had. They just pushed us back, and that's why they're the best team right now.
Do you now regret not banning Nuke?
No, not at all. I feel like we have been playing a decent Nuke against them. CT side was like all right. I think we maybe could have get like 1 or 2 more rounds. But on the T side, we had several 3v3 situations we went a little bit outside of our game plan in some rounds. But they were just pretty good. Glaive got a triple kill in one round. We didn't check on one corner against Ziptix one round. Those like so important things in that map that we didn't do really good. So they punished us and they won.
Well, look, you've still got 2 more chances to qualify, and the first chance is coming up very shortly against Vitality. So what's the morale like going into this one?
I mean, we knew we had a free swing at Astralis, and we know we have 2 more chances. Right now, we're focused to play this game, and this is the only game that we're thinking about now. So we'll give our best to try to qualify today.
What does your best look like?
I don't know. You'll probably see it later.
Well, I can't wait. Thank you so much for talking to me, to Kassad, and good luck to you and the boys today. Let's head back to the desk.
On the backs of what they're showing was a mirage. They were able to get it done there in overtime, of course, running the rounds all the way back in their favor and sealing the deal. But when we start to flip the pages forward, it would in fact go to Nuke, and things did get a little dicey there, guys. Quickly, try to digest to me what it is that happened there. I know, Sean, you had a much more in-depth look in as to what was JKS vent diving just about every round and punishing Device there in lower. But ultimately, obviously, Astralis had the answer.
Yeah, like Kassad was saying, I mean, they just lost so many 3v3s. They were getting the opening picks on several rounds, JKS getting down the vent successfully. They couldn't really piece together the full game plan, though, on T side. I mean, you can kind of hear the defeat in his voice because he's probably been here for so long. He's so exhausted, I'd imagine, constantly going over demos.
We need to set something straight, though, because a lot of viewers are misled. People are like, why would you play Nuke against Astralis? Well, Renegades, you don't put them on the same pedestal as a team like Liquid or Na'Vi, right? They had to ban Overpass. That is a map that they just do not play. That's their perma-ban, and they're more than happy to concede that. They don't practice at all. It's nothing that they could have even done damage on, where Astralis are competent on almost all 7 of the maps in the pool. And I know taking a Nuke seems like, you're just throwing away one map, but if you feel prepared and more comfortable on that, there's no point playing Overpass map that you have 0 practice on. That is literally throwing away a chance.
Well, Chad, in a weirder world, right, in an alternate universe where the Renegades did come out on top in that matchup, how do you feel like that would have played out in the brackets?
Oh, it would have completely ruined them. So I'm glad that Astralis and Liquid went, 3-0, because otherwise what may have happened is we could have had Astralis and Liquid on the same side of the playoff bracket, and we definitely don't want that to happen because they're the 2 clear favorites in the tournament, and now we have a chance for them to potentially meet in the grand final.
That was the problem we actually had in the Face It Major.
Yeah.
And honestly, that was a pretty poor best-of-3 series between the 2. I think it'll be a little bit better this time around.
Well, unfortunately, that's going to be us taking a quick break, but when we do come back, we're going to start to dive into what our first matchups are the day, and are of the day, I should say. It's a little bit easier English there, not top 1 England, but in fact, top 1 Poland. We'll be right back here in Katowice, so make sure you join us when we come back.
The champions of ESL One Cologne.
Do you remember?
Welcome to the Cathedral of Counter-Strike.
Think you've seen it all?
Are you ready to be a part of Counter-Strike history?
ESL One returns to Cologne in 2019.
Think you can't capture a clutch in full resolution while streaming the play to the world? Watch this. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
Synergy of brute strength, born of elite core power, to thrive under pressure in the most hostile conditions, and built to overclock. Prepare for combat. Go forth and conquer.
I've been there since the beginning. Every map, every frag, every moment. I run, but I never hide. With knowledge comes power, and power is to be wielded wisely. Which is why, as the expert, I bet with Betway. If you know CSGO, then you'll know the best way to bet on esports is with Betway, for the love of the game.